The Philadelphia 76ers were supposed to be the gold standard of the Eastern Conference, a team built on the back of a $400 million investment and championship DNA. When you look at the names on the roster, Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey, the expectation is a juggernaut. But according to the explosive reports and legal filings surfacing throughout late 2024 and 2025, the reality is a franchise in total freefall. We're talking about physical locker room altercations, secret team meetings that leaked in real time, and a star player being accused of sabotaging his own team's culture. Today, we are following the money and the internal fractures to answer three critical questions. First, what really happened in the locker room when Joel Embiid allegedly put his hands on a member of the media? Second, how did a 24-year-old kid like Tyrese Maxey end up calling out a former MVP for his habitual failures? And third, is the current 76ers collapse actually connected to the wider 2025 NBA gambling probe involving Mafia-linked circles? This is the industry secrets package on the 76ers Civil War. The most shocking points of this story involves the specific receipts showing how Embiid's tardiness wasn't just a personal quirk, but a systemic failure that broke the team's morale. But before we get to the elephant in the room, we have to address the physical confrontation that nearly ended a career. According to reports from the Philadelphia Inquirer and the Associated Press on November 3, 2024, the second most shocking element of this crisis is the locker room shove. Following a loss to the Memphis Grizzlies, a visibly frustrated Joel Embiid confronted columnist Marcus Hayes. The expectation was a heated verbal exchange. The reality was much darker. Embiid took issue with a column that referenced his late brother, Arthur, and his son, telling Hayes, "The next time you bring up my dead brother and my son again, you are going to see what I'm going to do to you." Per the witnesses in the room, Embiid then physically shoved Hayes, forcing team security and PR staff to scramble. The receipt for this moment was a 3-game league suspension and a loss of over $1.7 million in salary. But the real cost was the final shred of professional respect between the star and the local media. Now we move to the #1 most shocking revelation in the 76ers timeline, the Maxey mutiny. For years, the narrative in Philadelphia was that Embiid was the untouchable leader. However, per the leaked details of a private team meeting on November 19, 2024, the reality shifted. After starting the season with a pathetic 2-11 record, veteran Kyle Lowry called an hour-long airing of grievances. According to sources briefed on the meeting, Tyrese Maxey did the unthinkable. He stood up and challenged Embiid to stop being late for everything, calling out the former league MVP about his habitual tardiness and how it impacts the locker room. The receipt from this meeting is a quote that has haunted the franchise. Tyrese loves big fella, but this is the elephant in the room. For a young star to call out an MVP for childish actions proved that the hierarchy in Philly had officially collapsed. Embiid's reaction to the leak was equally telling, calling the person who shared the details a real piece of trash, further highlighting the lack of trust within the roster. This brings us to our third major question. Is there a deeper industry connection to the 2025 gambling scandals? In October 2025, a massive federal indictment shook the NBA, involving names like Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier in a Mafia-linked gambling ring. While Embiid himself has not been named in the criminal filings, the investigation highlights a culture of insider info leaks that directly mirror the 76ers' internal issues. Per the Department of Justice filings, the FBI traced unusual betting activity to games where players shared private medical data. The 76ers have been plagued by knee management stories and a lack of transparency that has analysts questioning the reality of the injury reports. On December 3, 2025, the NBA fined the 76ers $100,000 for failing to accurately disclose Embiid's status, the fourth such violation in less than 2 years. When a team repeatedly misleads the public about its star's health, it creates a vacuum that illegal gambling rings are all too eager to fill with insider information. Section 4 breaks down the coaching sabotage. According to reports from late 2024, Players told Coach Nurse they wanted to be coached harder. This is code for a lack of discipline that starts at the top. The receipts show that while the league was fining the team for misleading injury statements, the players were busy leaking the details of their own meetings to reporters like Shams Charania. This level of internal rot suggests that the players no longer trust the front office to protect them, leading to a save-yourself mentality that is poisonous to winning. Per the 2025 fallout, Embiid admitted he was confused by the team's execution on the court, a startling admission for a franchise player who has been the center of the organization for a decade. As we move into Section 5, we look at the process financial failure. Daryl Morey spent over $400 million to assemble this big three. The expectation was a title run. The reality, as of late 2025, is that the trio of Embiid, Paul George, and Maxey has barely shared the floor due to a rotating door of management issues and injuries. Per the contract data, the 76ers are locked into these deals for years, meaning they are effectively held hostage by a star player who, according to his own teammates, won't show up to meetings on time. This is the definition of a toxic asset in the basketball industry. While rookie Jared McCann has been a shining light, his production only highlights how much the veterans are underperforming. Section 6 examines the broader Mafia ties unsealed in the 2025 federal case. Per the indictment unsealed on October 23, 2025, members of the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese crime families used sophisticated technology like X-ray tables and modified shuffling machines to cheat victims out of $7 million. They lured these victims using face cards, recognizable NBA legends who gave the games an air of legitimacy. The industry secret here is that the NBA's locker room culture, often involving high-stakes card games on team flights, provided the perfect recruiting ground for these operations. While the 76ers locker room drama is a separate issue of chemistry, the federal government's focus on NBA insider trading for prop bets shows that the league's lack of internal control has become a matter of national security. Finally, we look at the impact on the franchise's future. The 76ers are currently at a crossroads. They can either trade their cornerstone or continue to plunge into the history books as one of the most expensive failures in NBA history. The insider takeaway is that the process didn't fail because of a lack of talent, it failed because of a lack of accountability. When the reality of your locker room is a physical fight with a reporter and a public call-out from your second-best player, the championship window isn't just closing, it's being boarded up. The 3-game suspension for the shove and the $100,000 fine for the injury reports are just the financial receipts of a deeper cultural bankruptcy. The summary of this collapse is clear. The 76ers are no longer just a basketball team, they are a case study in industry mismanagement. From the physical altercations to the federal oversight of the league's gambling ties, the velvet rope has been pulled back. The players know the truth, the reporters have the receipts, and the fans are left with the bill for a $400 million disaster. If you want to understand how the industry really works and why these multi-million-dollar big threes often fall apart from the inside, you need to see the receipts the league tries to hide. To see more on the hidden side of the game and the fallout of the 2025 gambling probe, check out our Court Vision Rope Industry Secrets playlist. It is the essential next step to understanding the game behind the game. According to the latest 2025 statistics, the 76ers' winning percentage without their star trio has hit an all-time low. This reinforces the reality that the team is entirely dependent on a player who, per their own teammates, is not meeting the basic professional requirements of his contract. As the federal investigation continues to drop new names, the NBA is forced to look closer at every locker room leak. The 76ers' inability to keep their house in order has made them the primary example of why the league's integrity is currently under fire. The civil war in Philadelphia isn't just about basketball. It's about the survival of a franchise's reputation in an era where every mistake is caught on camera or leaked to the press. The industry knows that once the trust factor is gone, the talent no longer matters. Joel Embiid's defiance, stating in 2025 that he would still do it regarding the reporter shove, shows a player who feels more powerful than the organization. Meanwhile, Tyrese Maxey's emergence as the vocal leader suggests a changing of the guard that the front office may not be ready for. As we move closer to the 2026 trade deadline, the industry receipts suggest a hard reset is the only way to save the city of Philadelphia from another decade of disappointment. As we close this package, remember that every record-breaking contract is built on the trust of the fans and the integrity of the athletes. When that trust is broken, whether by a locker room shove or an illegal gambling ring, the entire industry suffers. The 76ers story is a warning to every other front office in the league.
Talent can win you games, but only accountability can win you championships. The receipts are out, the players are talking, and the world is watching. Check the playlist now to see how the rest of the industry is reacting to this unprecedented collapse. We will be here to track every fine, every leak, and every move in the battle for the future of the game. The 2025 NBA season will be remembered for many things, but the 76ers' internal explosion stands as the ultimate expectation versus reality lesson. They expected a dynasty. They got a disaster. They expected a leader. They got a player who admits to being confused. And they expected a championship. They got a federal investigation. The receipts don't lie.